And our top focus at this hour, big terror politics explodes a day ahead of the Phase 3 polling in Uttar Pradesh. The BJP is now referring to old pictures of Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav with an SP leader, Shabad Ahmed, who is the father of the 2008 Ahmedabad serial blast case convict, calling the pictures as evidence of Samajwadi Party's link to terrorists. BJP has slammed Akhilesh's silence. In a scathing attack, party leader and Union Minister Anurag Thakur has called out the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Akhilesh, and sought his answer. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also questioned Akhilesh Yadav's silence on the terror links of the Samajwadi Party. Yogi said that the terrorist family is campaigning for the Samajwadi Party and hence he should apologize to the nation. Hitting back at the BJP for its allegations, Akhilesh said that the BJP has been lying and this is a part of their ongoing lies. 38 convicts were given the death penalty for the Ahmedabad blast yesterday, including 4 Indian Mujahideen terrorists. The Ahmedabad serial blast killed 56 and injured over 200.
अहमदाबादी हमले के तार समाजवादी पार्टी से जुड़े हैं और जिन 49 लोगों के खिलाफ ये बात आई है उनमें से जो एक मास्टरमाइंड की मैं अगर बात करूं ऐसे हैं मोहम्मद सैफ, पुत्र शाबाद अहमद, मिस्टर समाजवादी पार्टी नेता।
आजमगढ़ का एक आतंकी जिसे फांसी की सजा हुई है, उसका पिता समाजवादी पार्टी का प्रचारक है। समाजवादी पार्टी के मुखिया के साथ उसकी फोटो है। समाजवादी पार्टी का हाथ केवल आतंकियों के साथ तो है ही, सैकड़ों निर्दोष लोगों के खून से रंगे हुए इनके हाथ हैं। समाजवादी पार्टी को अपनी स्थिति स्पष्ट करनी चाहिए, पूरे देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
मैं ये कह रहा हूं पिछले कई दिनों से कि अगर झूठ बोलने वाला कोई है तो बीजेपी वाले हैं और बीजेपी वाले झूठ के अलावा कुछ नहीं बोलते।
Right. Joining me this evening, Rahul Srivastava, our National Affairs Editor, Abhishek Sudhir, Political Analyst, and Gopal Krishna Agarwal, BJP National Spokesperson. Thank you to you all. Abhishek Sudhir, I'll come across to you first. Should the Samajwadi Party be worried about the sensational charges that the BJP has levelled against their party chief Akhilesh Yadav just a day before the crucial third phase polling in Uttar Pradesh, especially because Karhal polls tomorrow?
Thank you, Polomi, for having me. As far as I can tell, I don't think the official spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party have been appearing on debates. And I think the reason behind that is I think they don't see any benefit or harm in participating in debates on these issues, right? So I think what's happening essentially is for the last 8 years this has been happening. The BJP seems to set the agenda and then the rest just follow and the narrative of the day is set by the BJP. So I think this is very, very well played by Mr. Akhilesh Yadav and the Samajwadi Party. They're not getting drawn into this because this is going to have absolutely no bearing really on the polls tomorrow. The Yadav bastions, the Samajwadi Party bastions go to the poll tomorrow. Mainpuri, Jaswantnagar, Etawah, Karhal, so these are your SP bastions. These are SP fortresses. Of course, the fortress was breached in 2017. Nobody can deny that. But you have Chacha Shivpal, who's back in the fold. That visual of the three of them, Chacha, Netaji, and Mr. Yadav in the campaign bus was a powerful one. The Samajwadi Party is focusing on a positive campaign, and I don't think the negative campaign of the BJP is going to have too much of an impact on
Okay, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, do you want to respond to that? The negative campaign of the BJP is not going to have any sort of impact on the electorate which goes in to cast its ballot because the Samajwadi Party is playing the quote-unquote positive game. So they're not going to get drawn into the charges that you've levelled against their party chief.
One thing, Paul, I would like to clarify here. It is not the BJP which is charging Samajwadi Party for having terror link. It is the court order which has given a death penalty for the 38 number of convict who has links with the Samajwadi Party, and it is quite evident from that he has been campaigning, he belongs to Azamgarh, and it is not only this. Many of the people in this convictions have their links and connections with the Azamgarh, which is the kingpin have been residing. So they should explain. And one second important part is, I do not agree with this narration that this is not very important for the election. In Uttar Pradesh, the most important part is organized crime, law and order, the safety of women and the safety of industrialist business community, the extortion business. All these are the most important part, and the question had been before 2017 that Samajwadi Party was part of this organized crime gangs, their workers, their leaders, their whether it is Muzaffarnagar riot or anywhere, you will find that the link will come to Samajwadi Party.
Okay,
so
Rahul Srivastava, do you want to come in on that? Rahul Srivastava, is this important or unimportant a discussion? The Samajwadi Party says, and that is what Abhishek Sudhir in fact was referring to, that they are not getting drawn into this battle because they believe that it is unimportant. It's not necessary to get drawn into this, and this is the BJP's game plan, to have them drawn into this sort of an argument and then of course in some way divert them from the actual issues that are on the ground. But the BJP says organized crime, law and order, there are issues on the ground.
Polemy, whether it will have an impact or whatever the perception is, I think it's basically depending on which side of the political fence you are. For the BJP, it is extremely important. It will have an impact. It wants to have an impact. And then for the Samajwadi Party is not. Now we are already in the middle of the, just one day ahead of the third phase of polling. And I think it is eventually the public which is going to decide whether it's going to have an impact or not. But yes, importantly, what it does is it fits into the kind of narrative that the BJP has been trying to build against the Samajwadi Party in a bipolar contest. See, what has worked over the last 3 elections very well for the BJP is strident Hindutva, polarized atmosphere and strong nationalism. Now, if you take all these 3 ingredients on which BJP has had victories, the BJP can't go away. Now, it's a virtual godsend. It's the right timing that they've got an observation where somebody is a terror accused, has been convicted, and in the same case, the father has been seen with Akhilesh Yadav. Now, the BJP is trying to build on its campaign that one, Akhilesh Yadav's party, if you remember, Prime Minister talking about the Gundagardi, the extortion and the mafia rule under Akhilesh Yadav and the Samajwadi Party. And the law and order is one of the big mainstays of the BJP's campaign. So it's trying to hit out at Samajwadi Party just barely a few hours before the third phase begins. But is it going to have an impact? I think on the ground, the realities are different. I think, yes, definitely, law and order is an issue on which the BJP is trying to build on.
Right, but Rahul, in your analysis, this sort of a charge in Punjab blew up, especially with the Khalistani charge against Arvind Kejriwal. We saw the sort of back and forth, the charges leveled, the letters exchanged between the Chief Minister, the Home Minister. Now the BJP, of course, making those sort of terror-linked charges against the Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh. But it's not exploding possibly in the manner that it should. And why not, if not?
See, one, Polemy, the picture of a leader with another leader doesn't really, I think, make somebody a terrorist and a political leader connected, or a patron, somebody who provides patronage to terror. See, there have been pictures in the past, people posing it with the Prime Minister, with Home Minister and several others. Those, I think that does not go down very well in the public. The public is not really paying attention to that. Also because right this time around, perhaps that entire the wave or whatever wave or in form of nationalism, strident Hindutva and polarization we saw in the last 3 elections does not exist. It has come down to each constituency on its own. If there is a polarization, if there is Hindutva, it is more subterranean this time around. And that is why this adding barely a few hours before the third phase, that possibility looks a little remote. In Punjab, it's a different thing. A lot of people are saying that it may hurt Arvind Kejriwal. My political analysis is totally different. I say that it may actually help Arvind Kejriwal, primarily because he was depending till now. He did not have a strong judge-sec face. He got Mr. Maan as a later thought. And he was depending on the votes of the Dalits and others in certain regions of Punjab. But with these charges that he has been sympathetic to those who are into strident views in Punjab, does help actually Arvind Kejriwal more than it actually hurts him. And that is why I'll say Punjab is a total, as you said, is a totally different ball game compared to UP. This time around, the ground realities are such that the absorption in the public of such issues seems to be slightly more remote, and I think the charge itself does not have that strong traction value or equity to it that will go down in the public and may sway the public voter. I think BJP works on building a brick by brick campaign in which this is yet another brick in the wall.
Okay, that's a very interesting sort of a take, especially your analysis of how the charges against Arvind Kejriwal in Punjab are going to manifest themselves in the elections on Sunday, which is tomorrow. I'll request all of my guests to stay on with us now in a mega exclusive, in fact, a day ahead of the Phase 3 polling. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has hit out at the Samajwadi Party. Yogi said that the Akhilesh-led party has always been infamous for criminal links. The Yogi has asked Akhilesh to apologize to the nation for compromising national security. Listen in to this exclusive conversation.
कल जो फैसला गुजरात की अहमदाबाद की एक न्यायालय ने दिया है वो बहुत सारे लोगों की आंखों को खोलने वाला है। उसमें से कुछ आतंकियों के संबंध उत्तर प्रदेश के आजमगढ़ के संजरपुर से है और आजमगढ़ का एक आतंकी जिसे फांसी की सजा हुई है उसका पिता समाजवादी पार्टी का प्रचारक है। समाजवादी पार्टी के मुखिया के साथ उसकी फोटो है। समाजवादी पार्टी का हाथ केवल आतंकियों के साथ तो है ही, सैकड़ों निर्दोष लोगों के खून से रंगे हुए इनके हाथ हैं। समाजवादी पार्टी को अपनी स्थिति स्पष्ट करनी चाहिए, पूरे देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए। ये लोग अपने राजनीतिक स्वार्थ के लिए देश की सुरक्षा के साथ खिलवाड़ करते हैं, निर्दोष नागरिकों के जीवन के साथ खिलवाड़ करते हैं। ये स्वीकार्य नहीं होना चाहिए।
Abhishek Sudhir, I'll come across to you right now. Gopal Krishna Agarwal earlier was referring to the fact that you might think that the Samajwadi Party can simply brush this under the carpet and move on because they don't want to focus or get drawn into the campaign that the BJP wants to launch itself into. But organized crime, law and order, they're sticking with the people. These are issues that are sticking with the people. So for Akhilesh Yadav to be seen with someone who is a terror mastermind's father, that is going to be damaging.
Follow me, I don't think so. Coming to Mr. Srivastav's analysis, I mean, I grew up watching his nightly reports on television, so I'm going to defer to him. Most of what I know about politics, I know from watching him. What he's absolutely right, where he says this isn't like a wave election, right? So in 2017, the exodus from Kairana, or should I say the so-called exodus, had play from Noida to Balia, from east to west. This time it's more region-focused, seat-focused. If you look at Western UP, follow me, the Prime Minister was deeply unpopular because of the farm laws. But in Eastern UP, the Prime Minister is not so unpopular, whereas Yogi is unpopular because of this perception of Thakurwad. Then you have Bundelkhand, where it's a water crisis issue. You have the Terai region in Lakhimpur Kheri, where it's the farmers, being run over by Ashish Mishra. Ashish Mishra has got bail and Lakhimpur Kheri goes to the polls in 23. Central UP and Awadh, Ayodhya Mandir, no one's really talking about it. So once again, it becomes a fight about Yadav pride with the Chacha, Batija, everybody coming together, Netaji back together. So Uttar Pradesh this time is far too complex. It was a Modi wave election in 2017. 2022, I think the Samajwadi Party is playing it smart. They're playing it safe. They've got a fantastic strategy in place. Mr. Yadav is, allying with the non-Yadav OBCs in the east. In the west, the alliance with SPRLD, right? In Bundelkhand, Mahandal, Keshav Dev Maurya makes a difference. In Terai, Sikh candidates have been given tickets. In Central UP, of course, tomorrow, the families.
Okay, so you're saying that the game plan of Akhilesh Yadav is working and is working fine for the Samajwadi Party. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, do you want to come in on that? That the issues, the larger issues that you're focusing on, be it Hindutva politics, polarization, national security, these are issues that are not in fact sticking with the people on the ground. The elections are being fought at different, very specific, very local issues, is boiling down to the constituency itself.
For me, I would like to mention two things. When I do not agree that the Samajwadi Party is not answering this because they don't think it is important, but actually they have no ready-made answers for them. And it's a well-established fact that they were involved, their people and their leaders were involved. I live in Noida. We have the first-hand experience. Second important part I would like to mention here is that when Rahulji was saying that it is not having that traction, these discussions, etc. Actually, this is a well-established and which has gone down well to the people deeply, and this fact is very well known to them. about the links of the Samajwadi Party. So all the cases, their connections, their activities are well known to the ground people in the Uttar Pradesh. So therefore, it is not being discussed that much, but ultimately this is having impact on the ground.
Okay. It is for the electorate eventually to, of course, decide what are the sort of issues that are... Okay. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, unfortunately, we've got some breaking news that's coming in. I apologize to my guests. This is all the time that we have on this discussion. Abhishek Sudhir, Rahul Srivastav, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, thank you so much for joining us.